You know, I have tried to get a fire going, Pip.
Yeah.
As you know, at least twice, and now take a look at
This
this.
thing's like a bonfire.
This bonza, mate.
I'm surprised
bonza.
that Chris Lee isn't in the middle of the straw man there. Burning
No,
down.
no. It was
Cage?
No. Well, no. Nick Cage was in the remake. It was Edward Woodward who was inside the Wicker Man. It was Chris Lee that lit it on fire.
That put him in there.
Yeah, put him in there. Yeah, Chris Lee is not going to let anybody put him in the Wicker. That's not how you put someone into a Wicker Man.
Let me tell you, back in World War II.
Back in World War II, we took plenty of Nazis and put them into the Wicker Man.
That's why the crops were so good the year after.
God, woman. Anyway, how you doing, everybody? It's time for its fireside lore. So Mika, how you doing? Nerd Girl, Ms. Mayhem, Yuji, how you doing? It's good to see you all tonight. I finally got a fire going here, and man,
You feel good about that?
I feel real good.
really good that I've learned how to make a mojito.
Yeah. Pip is killing it with the mojito.
Well, it's all the mint we've got in our garden. I mean,
Yeah.
what else are you going to do but make mojitos?
So we
I might have to learn how to make pictures of mojitos.
So yeah, pictures, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean that's so Chad. The story goes is that we were working on I was growing stuff many moons ago. I was growing stuff, trying to do something with mint, right? And I didn't really do anything with it. It just kind of grew on its own, and it grew on its own, and then it kind of grew out of control. It stopped becoming a plant and became more of a weed.
Yes.
And now we have so much mint, we don't know what to do with
Well, I cut it down. Well, we went and weeded the bed.
it. Yeah.
And we severely limited the amount of mint that was in there. But it's still trying to grow through the lawn, so we have to pull it out every now and then.
We still have plenty of mint to go through. So Pip decided in her infinite wisdom, she said, "Hey, you know what? I got all this mint. Why don't I just go on ahead and I will I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to take all this mint and I'm gonna start learning how to make mojitos." And that is now.
Well, I asked people on social media. I said, "What shall I make with all this mint?" And the resounding or mint juleps. It was either mojitos or mint juleps.
Now you did a nice mint julep. I gotta say.
I gotta make a nice mint julep as well.
She does make a nice mint julep. And you know, mint juleps are great, but I mean, Pip's more of a mojito girl.
I like a mojito, and I'll be able to. I've made a pretty straight up mojito here.
You did.
But I've also been I put some mango in one once, and I've also put some strawberries in
I'd
it.
like to see you do a strawberry mango mojito. I would dig that.
Mango
Strawberry
mojito.
mango mojito.
Tonight?
It depends on how much lore we're going to read and whether or not you feel daring enough to make one.
A mojito is a pretty good summer drink, though.
Well, if you go in there and you make a new mojito, I would be more than happy to try a strawberry mango mojito because I don't have a run tomorrow. I do not have a run tomorrow.
So you may mojito away.
I may mojito away. Right now I just have cherry Coke. That's all I got. But I was going to say,
sad.
Chat, it's not sad. It's just I just didn't feel like
put some
drinking.
Bacardi in that for you.
No, I don't know. I'm fine on my own. I'm going to wait for the mojito. Anyway, chat, for those of you who are just joining us, this is Fireside Lore. Now, for those of you who are new to this, Mika, because I know you said you've never been to one of these before.
Oh.
What we do is we basically throw some wood into the fire, get a fire started, and then we read lore from Destiny. And we actually got.
My face is getting quite hot.
I know, right? That's why I'm going to let that die down because I'm not ready
we
to
don't
put
need a
any more.
bonfire.
I don't need to put any more. The only reason we would even need that to be even half as lit is that so that people can see us. But I was going to say that.
They can see us.
Thank you.
I can see that they can see us.
Pro streamer right here, everybody. Anyway, so what we do is we and you'll notice too under my channel points, it does say in fact yes that we are doing. For every 10,000 golden gears that you redeem, you get some lore. And well, it turns out that we in fact got hit pretty hard last night. I got 15 redemptions last night. So we're not going to go through all of them tonight. We're not going to go.
What's the
through
grand
them
total, including those?
23. And
okay.
the first.
We can probably do 10, right?
Right. The first book we have is 5 stories. And this is by request. This is the first book that we're reading by request by the fire is the book Pathfinding. This is a brand new book of lore coming out of the current season of the Splicer, and
Man,
we're going to go on ahead and
I'm
we're
just
going
going to say, I'm going to add to the ambiance of this moment, describe to people that we have a wall of honeysuckle.
And it's all blooming.
And it's all blooming. It's all beautiful right now.
It's why I wanted...
I could put that in a mojito.
And I don't know if you can.
You can make something.
But that was why I wanted honeysuckle. That's why I wanted to have honeysuckle.
It's beautiful on a night like tonight.
And when it blooms on a summer night in Virginia, we just have a wall of honeysuckle here.
You sometimes get 2 blooms out of it a year, so this is the spring one, I guess.
Yeah, and it's been really nice. Now, for those of you who are joining us and know about the cicadas that are supposed to be emerging, here's the thing: what you hear right now, those are not cicadas; those are frogs.
We have not heard Brood 10.
Now, we don't want to necessarily tempt it. But weirdly, we have not been hit by the cicadas yet. I'm sure they're coming, but what we are being hit by, I wish you could see it because now it's lit by the fire. But we've got a fire in the fire pit. We've got a wall of honeysuckle, and we've got you all coming in here, and we're gonna have mojitos tonight apparently. So I'm gonna kick it off. And we're gonna read from a path. We're gonna read A Path's End, and this is from Season of the Splicer. And here we go. And thank you everybody for joining us for Fireside Lore. Ada 1 heard the chip of a comm channel opening before a distorted voice spoke clear. I've got eyes on entries and exits. Looks clear. She stepped through a rusted doorway into a courtyard. The wind whistled through the torn seams of decrepit structures, and raindrops crackled on loose metal plating. She walked through the muddy soil and stopped where the Bergusia Forge used to stand. Curses, Ada spat. Splat. Let's try that again. Ada spat. Her hands fidgeted as her gaze wandered aimlessly around the nearly barren landscape. Artemis V perched on a broken pillar, her scope methodically rotating through doorways and windows while her ghost floated patiently overhead. The other 2 members of Ada's escort lounged against a broken wall to the rear, silently watching the black armorer. She looked back, studying their featureless helmet plates, then quickly turned away. Her foot clanked against something hard and metallic. She stooped down and picked up a forgotten slab of black armory alloy, a remnant of the lost forge. Artemis kicked into the comms again. That forge tech? Any clues of what happened here? Ada sighed as she studied it. Scorch cannon sears, wire rifle cuts, kinetic ricochet marks. Almost like they've been years of combat here, Artemis quipped sarcastically. How astute, Ada said dryly. There's nothing more to glean here. She took a deep breath, a useless gesture in her exo-body, but a compulsion nonetheless. Sun's fading, Artemis said. Devram's got eyes on a fallen raiding party. Not headed our way yet, but I'd rather not take chances. You have what you need? Hardly, Ada said. But we won't find much else. This area has been thoroughly scavenged, same as the others. Fallen? Artemis asked. And no guardians bothering to stop them? Could have been anyone. Artemis winced. I can only imagine how you must feel. The Vanguard had a tough call to make. Planetary evacs came first. And now they're on to exciting new frontiers, while I'm left with nothing but rubbish, Ada said, her voice full of false cheerfulness. Artemis leapt down from her vantage point and placed a hand on Ada's arm. Ada's shoulder slumped. I'm glad for the evacuations. I should have... A howl erupted from somewhere in the complex. Artemis readied her rifle, and one of the escort squad entered from the comms channel. Pike's changed heading. We should get her out. Are you ready? Artemis asked. Ada studied the broken slab of metal in her hand, turning it over and tracing its jagged edges. I'm not sure, she said, tightly clutching the piece of debris. What choice do I have? Is Artemis usually a female's name?
Yep.
It can be?
God of wisdom.
Oh, goddess?
Sorry, goddess of wisdom, yes.
Okay. You know what? I learned something new there, chat. I had no idea.
Minerva and Artemis are
Okay.
the Greek and Roman gods of wisdom.
I did not know
Goddesses
that.
of wisdom.
I did not know that. Hey, Panic. Good to see you in chat. Good to see
Am I
you in
reading
chat.
next, am I?
Yes, you are reading next, but give me a second. I need to...
Watch out.
We're now getting very dim.
Oh,
Dim
yeah,
isn't
we can
lighty.
fit. How much more wood have... Oh, we've got enough
we got
wood.
plenty.
We has plenty of wood. Is there still some left over there from the
Just a little
woodman?
bit, just a little bit from the woodman, but we will be in for a call for the next one. We'll definitely be in for a call for another.
More wood,
some
woodman.
More wood, woodman. If you please.
Yeah,
Bring
it's
us-
interesting. I can see our neighbours. Some of our neighbours are
Bring
out.
us more
At
wood.
least 2 of our neighbours are out enjoying the beautiful evening. It's
It
not
is a
too.
nice evening.
It's not too hot.
No.
It's just warm and toasty.
Well, toastier with us.
Well, the
because
fire
we
is
got
definitely
fire
making it hot, but
going. That
you can
was-
hear the little peepers down at the creek.
Yep. Creek.
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 Hey, I
Look.
just noticed I'm actually drinking out of the Destiny mug.
Yeah.
Out of Destiny glass.
That seems appropriate.
Mm.
Oh my God! Standing right next to that honeysuckle is just heaven.
It is gorgeous right now.
It's really nice, chat.
When it's all died back, we'll prune that. But for now,
Yeah, we
let's
will.
enjoy the flowers.
We're just going to enjoy the flowers and enjoy the scent that they give. Because I really love honeysuckle.
It makes me think of when we used to walk Sunny to elementary school.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Which is
yeah.
not far from here. And we
So-
would cut through the woods, and it was always lovely when you got that.
Yeah, honeysuckle. Honeysuckle grows wild.
It's a native.
Yeah, but it grows wild here, and in the forest, right in between where Sonny used to go to elementary school, and here, it's everywhere. So you have to, and they have a little cut through. They have a little sidewalk that cuts through, and during the beginning months, and of course in the spring, right before they let go for the year, it's just you walk through there and it's just all honeysuckle.
It seems to me that it comes in twice. It comes in the spring and the autumn. So when the kids
Yeah.
are going off to school in either end, either finishing up or starting off.
Right. It's and so I'm when
That is, you know how smells attached to memories? That's how it's going to go.
yeah, that is how it's going to go. But the thing is, chat, the reason why we have so much honeysuckle here is because I told Pip when we were reclaiming this area and we were having, we put the stone patio in for this, and she said, so what do you want to do with this area? I was thinking a trellis. What do you want to grow? And I immediately said honeysuckle. I just want a wall of honeysuckle here, and
It is now a beast of a honeysuckle.
it is a wait. Monkey says that we need bees. I've seen
say
quite a few
bees.
bees.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
bees
honeysuckle-
bees know to come here because of all the flowering honeysuckle we have. But
Yeah, we're bee friendly here.
I want to say we have 3 different kinds of honeysuckle here. We
we
have
actually have honeysuckle, and we have a couple of other plants battling it out, but the honeysuckle is
we have
taking
standard honeysuckle, and then we have orange
pink
honeysuckle and
and
pink lemonade
pink
honeysuckle.
lemonade honeysuckle. That's not as vigorous as just the regular
No.
honeysuckle, but it
No.
is in there.
But it's over here. I remember it's over here.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere.
But yeah, we
oh, actually, I think this is it here. I think
Yeah.
that's the pink honeysuckle there.
And the honeysuckle has grown so intensely on this one side of our trellis that it is pulling the trellis down. So we're gonna have to we're
At
gonna
one
have to do
stage, but
something.
not right now.
Yeah.
But you did the thing where you pull the honeysuckle and you suck the honey out the back of it?
Have I done that?
Yeah.
No.
You've
I
never
haven't.
done that?
I've never done
Well,
that.
you could do it on this because we know it's never been sprayed with anything, but you
That's
don't want to
true.
do it on wild honeysuckle because you don't know.
Yeah.
Or as Sonny used to say, you don't know if a dog's peed on it.
That's true. Did you want to pick some off and have me do it? Because I've never done it.
Yeah, we'll go around the.
Let's do it. Let's do it, chat. And then Pip will read something. I've never done that before. I've never done. Panic says they're at an Indian restaurant grabbing some takeout. Been a long work day. Hope you've had a good day. It's
Been a quiet day, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say this. I spent the first half of the day in Ghost of Tsushima.
It's not the worst place to be.
I know. But
Go
yeah.
pick a little.
All right.
A bit.
All right.
Get a bit that's open.
Actually,
or
Pip,
not.
Pip, can you watch the camera here? I'm going to swing it around.
Okay, so you can see the honeysuckle.
So there's the wall of honeysuckle. Can you see it?
Yes, sort of, through flashes.
Yeah.
As the fire hits it.
Right, exactly. That's the wall of honeysuckle that I'm going to. Okay, tell me when I've centered up the
that across, down a bit, and across a bit. There.
Right.
That looks good. Oh, now of course the flames heat up, and you can definitely see the.
Okay, so
There's a lot of honeysuckle to choose
yeah,
from.
I got my pick.
There is no chance of anybody peeing on that honeysuckle.
So I'm gonna.
It's like at least 6 foot tall.
Oh, it smells so good.
So I haven't. I have.
So you're
I
gonna
did
have to
this
coach
with
me through
Serena.
this, 'cause I've
Well,
never
she
done this
told
before.
me that what you do
All right.
is you pinch it off at the back and you suck on the back.
So.
See, there's the back of the flower there, right? You can see the little.
Okay. Right. So there's the. So I suck on that bit.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Like a pipette.
That's what she said.
Ready?
All right. Yeah. Let's go. I'm not tasting it.
Maybe just break it. Oh.
Mhm.
I'm not sort of what you're really tasting is the odor.
Yeah, I'm not tasting anything. I like the smell of it, though. I like the smell of it.
I mean, if you crush that,
Yeah.
just stick that up your nose.
That's awesome. Yeah, just snort that. Snort the honeysuckle.
Snort this.
Panic says, I'm torn on honeysuckle. It's lovely, but it grew in a garden of my childhood home and brings back unpleasant memories. I should grow some and rewrite some happy memories. Well, you know what? Funny you should say that, Panic, because that's exactly my plan tomorrow. I have, as you've heard me say on the stream before, terrible memories about the Vault of Glass. And that goes live tomorrow. And I'm like, you know what? I want to reclaim this. I want to reclaim this.
Claim it for your own.
I want to reclaim it for my own. So, Panic, you are absolutely right. Yes, you should reclaim it.
Because it's a beautiful plant and a lovely smell.
Yeah. And the only reason, and what I associate
And
it
it's
with,
tough as nails.
I think what I associate it with the most is I associate the most with walking Sunny to elementary school.
Yeah.
Because I'd smelled it before. I knew what honeysuckle was, but I never had it growing wild around me like that. And I remember when I figured out what that plant was, I said that's what I want to have in our backyard, and now we have it.
And it is. It's got this sort of.
It's a very comforting smell.
It's like a very heavy honey smell.
Yeah, a combination of floral and honey, and I love it. So yeah, Panic. That's exactly what I think you should do.
There are some other lovely plants that have wonderful smells, like gardenias and stuff.
Gardenias,
and jasmine.
roses,
but they're harder to grow.
roses.
But gardenias are hellish to grow.
Yeah.
And honeysuckle will just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll
go.
It's very low maintenance. It's very low maintenance. All right. So the next piece we have here is called Lost. That's all you.
All right, and then I'll go make a couple of mojitos.
You're gonna make some strawberry mango mojitos.
Yes.
All right.
It'll take me a little bit longer than.
Which means I will entertain chat by chit chatting with you all, and also
you can keep reading.
I will keep reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lost. The hiss of Ada's... It's Ada, right?
Yeah, Ada.
The hiss of Ada's welding torch echoed through the armory hall, compounding into a sea of discordant noise until the seam was complete. She placed the tool down and grabbed the piece of alloy in her hand, testing the bond's strength. The actuators in her fingers whirred with effort, but as her focus shifted to the open tomb on her desk, the metal promptly snapped. Ada let out an exasperated groan. 2 more pieces of detritus dropped on an already cluttered floor. "Did you forget to measure twice?" a voice called out from behind. Ada whirled around as Hawthorne sauntered into the hall. "Isn't that saying based on woodworking?" Ada asked flatly. Hawthorne shrugged. "Don't have any welding jokes." She gingerly stepped over a tangle of cables. Great work environment you've got. Love the decor." Ada turned to her tomb with intense focus. "Can I help you with something?" Hawthorne chuckled. "I was going to ask you that. Heard the cursing all the way up the stairwell." "Can you interpret armory schematics and machine the parts needed to assemble them?" Ada asked without looking up. Unlikely, Hawthorne said. Can you convince Zavala to stop asking me when a forge will be operational again? Hawthorne puffed her cheeks and exhaled. Even less likely. Ada quickly flipped a page of the tomb. The paper snapped, nearly tearing. Sounds like the answer to your question is no. Is that why you're doing this? Vanguard orders. Ada jabbed a thumb at her own chest. The forges are my legacy. It's my responsibility to continue their operation. Zavala's desires are tangential. Hawthorne stepped closer to Ada's workstation. Help me out here. I'm not super familiar with your illustrious organization's history. Was the armory born of a dream to have the world's greatest gun oven? Ada sighed. The armory was founded to stand against the darkness, to shield humanity when we couldn't count on others to do so. Forges were simply the tools we used. So much for the grand plan. The pyramids rolled in, and last I checked, Mars is still missing. Titan, Mercury. Did you come down here solely to antagonize me? Ada sniped. All right, Hawthorne pleaded. Look, I know we aren't friends or anything. I'm not sure you have any of those anyway. Ada glowered. Right, sorry, Hawthorne said quickly. The thing is, people around here talk a big game about putting humanity first, but then it's all guardians all the time. Ada nodded. The devotion to light bearers can seem fanatical. But you're not like that, Ada. Ada shook her head. I appreciate the sentiment, Soraya?
Soraya.
I appreciate the sentiment, Soraya, but I'm not sure how that relates to the forges. Hawthorne leaned on Ada's desk. I think your voice is important to have around here. I want you to succeed, but you might be holding on to the past too tightly. Ada scoffed. You presume to tell me how to carry the armory's legacy? Hawthorne gestured to the forge memorabilia strewn about the hall. Oh, not at all. But your founders didn't wake up one day with forges on the brain. They started with a problem, then designed a solution as only they could. Ada turned, her eyes thoughtful. And you're suggesting I'm starting with a solution instead? Limiting my view? I'm saying I would understand if it was hard to let go of all this when it's all you've ever known. Ada nodded. The idea of leaving the forges behind is admittedly unnerving. I get it, Hawthorne said, but the old methods aren't working. Maybe it's time to carry on your founder's legacy in your own way. Ada was silent for a moment. I should get back to work. Thank you for your advice. She jutted her arm out in a stiff handshake gesture. Hawthorne chuckled and clasped her hand around Ada's. Good luck. But maybe try to keep the noise down, okay? It bothers my bird.
Hawthorne, obviously, is the one you've seen me talk to who's got Louie. She's got the hawk.
Ah.
I can't remember if you ever saw the opening mission.
I remember the bird on somebody's shoulder.
Yeah, that was Louie.
remember that.
That was Louie.
Oh, sweet Louie. All right, I'm going to go and make a couple of... Ooh.
A couple of mojitos?
You feel it when you stand up.
I bet you do.
That's the 2 ounces of Bacardi in there. That
The Bacardi will get you every time. Just, pace yourself, my darling. Pace
I'm
yourself.
going to make 2.
All right. That is my wife, everyone. How you doing? We've been talking about what we're trying to paint the scene for you here, and it's really as I was listening to Pip, read the lore from Destiny. I've got the smell of honeysuckle, and as I lean back, I can smell the wood from the fire. I got to say, this is the most normal I felt in a year. It's the most normal I have felt in a year, and it's been pretty amazing being able to start feeling a sense of normalcy. Panic, real quick. I did want to say good luck to you in your upcoming interviews. I know you've got some coming, and I think you're going to do great. As many of you know, I'm starting a new job on the 1st. It's going to be the 1st 1st of June. And I'm excited. I talked to someone. I talked to my new boss on Thursday, yesterday, and we had a good talk. I think it went smoothly, and now I'm talking with Phil Rossi. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Monkey. You probably didn't hear it. Yeah, I did. I landed a new gig. It was made official. It was made official last week. I told a select few people, and then I mentioned it on stream, and got final interviews on Monday. 3 separate interviews for 3 hours. Yeah. Welcome to my world. I think the longest I've ever gone in an interview has been 4 hours, 4.5 hours. And I met with 5 different people in those times. And while I didn't get the job, it was an amazing experience. And I learned a lot from it. I did learn a lot from it. One of the things I learned was endurance and the importance of sleep, because I was fine. It was a grueling 4.5 hours, but did I feel like I had made an impact? Yes. Did I feel like I made enough of an impact to get the job? Obviously no, but can't complain all around. It was still worth it. It was definitely worth it. But now the other thing I should probably let you all know about, which I think is really hella funny, and I think you're going to enjoy it, provided me and Phil can make it happen. As you all know, on Thursday nights, I get together with Phil Rossi, and we do Phasmophobia. Well, we've been talking, and we've decided we're going to do it for realsies. We're absolutely. Oh, look at that! Chain nerd with the host. How about that? Chain nerd with the host. Thank you, sir. Gus, how are you? How are things going, man? You doing all right? There's the sound you want to hear. Thank you, Chain Nerd. How are you, Gus? Hope you're having a good time. Having a good Friday night. I haven't had a chance to say it publicly on Facebook, so I don't know if you saw it in one of my early or if you saw it in a replay of Twitch. But I have a new job, and I started on June 1st, and I was just talking about it. I was just talking about what's coming. You like fire. You're worn out. You've been helping Emily and her hubs do some garden landscaping all week. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's going to take it out of you, buddy. That's going to take it out of you. No lie there. No lie. But anyway, but what Phil Rossi and I are planning, just so you all know, we're actually going to be planning a ghost hunt. We're actually going to plan a ghost hunt. And if at all possible, we're going to stream it. We're going to stream it live. And I'm sure there are people who have done ghost hunts before live, but this would be a first for me, and I'm really hoping we can pull it off. All right, so if you're curious, Gus, Pip is inside. She's making cocktails. She is making mojitos. In fact, I gave her a challenge of doing a strawberry mango mojito, and that is what she's working on right now. In the meantime, I'm going to go on ahead and kick into the next piece of lore. This is book 3, or this is part 3 of the book Pathfinding, and it's a story that's involving Ada and her evolution after basically what happened to Ada during the darkness takeover of all the different planets. Come to Philly, do the overnight at Fort Mifflin or Eastern State Penitentiary. I think we would probably do that in the winter. I'm thinking about doing that in the winter. I would prefer that, and I think that would be something that Phil and I would be game for. But I think we want to try to do some local haunts first, and then we'll come up to Philly. Monkey, Phil was talking about doing it at least on a monthly basis, so that is a possibility. That is a possibility. But he's already picked out a place called the Belgrove Plantation, and we're going to try to get in there, if not in June, get there in July. So that's going to be, we're going to see what happens. Those places are supposed to be haunted haunted AF for the non-native folks. My ancestors' bones are in the ground here. I got nothing to fear. Cool. Okay. All right. So without any all right, let's get back into Destiny lore. This is part 3 of the book Pathfinding. This is called Searching. Ada 1 tapped her foot impatiently while standing in the cryptarium. So, can you do it? Rahul looked up lazily from his datapad and scowled. What a ridiculous question. Of course I can. It's a question of when I'll have the time. Ada's head tilted down. I didn't realize we were indulging in semantics. Rahul's response was arid as he tapped away on the device. There's no greater pleasure. Very well. When do you think you will have the time? Rahul placed a hand on his chin. The influx of data from Europa is significant on top of the routine Guardian armament support. Not to mention the open-ended nature of your query. The Cryptarch's eyes flitted as he thought through the problem. A conservative guess would be 2 to 3 weeks. Ada groaned. That's absurd. I can't sit around for that long. You misunderstand, Rahul replied. I make no statements regarding what you should do with your time. Ada gripped the Cryptarch's desk. Fine. Can I search it myself? Rahul shook his head. Access to the classified archives is limited to sanctioned guardians, tower support staff, or the Vanguard themselves. You are none of those things. That's not... Oh, sorry. Ada scoffed. Don't be ridiculous. I've seen that drifter perusing this data on a weekly basis for his own amusement. That's not... There's no way, Rahul stammered and blushed. I assure you, no such breach has occurred. Ada folded her arms as Rahul continued. And even if it had, one crime doesn't excuse another. Ada leaned forward assertively. I guess you will be of no help then. Rahul shrugged. Not for 2 or 3 weeks, at the very least. Ada grunted and stormed off through the cryptarium's towering doors, the colorful display of colored glass shining on her shoulders, when she heard Rahul loudly call after her. What were the names again that you were querying against? Rahul asked. Henriette Mirin, Yuki Satu, and Helga Rasmussen. Rahul's eyes lifted at the final name. You may be in luck. It seems our interests have overlapped. Never done the Cryptarch's voice before. That was fun. All right. Give it a few more minutes, and then we will get to part 4. But that's if, and I don't know if I'm going to read it or if Pip will read it, but I'll make sure Pip gets a read. I'm going to make sure Pip gets a read in. Don't you worry. I enjoy having Pip read. Now remember, everybody, for those of you who are new to this, new to a Fireside lore, Pip is not familiar with Destiny. She does not play Destiny. In fact, if they had lore for, say, Ghost of Tsushima, she'd be all over it. But since Destiny is my jam, I sometimes have to fill in the blanks for Pip. But anyway, let's get the log back on here. Oh man, the log split. How about that? It's a good sign. It's a good sign of a good fire when logs split. When logs split, we get better fire. This up and shove it in there. There we go. That's what I want. That's what I want. Build that sucker up. That's what Bear Grylls taught me. Build it up. Build it up to get the best heat and the best light. I'm actually doing this more for light than for heat. But yeah, it's a great night, everybody. It's a great night. We were going to do another Alien Isolation, but I think the game has Pip a little on the scurred side, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, but yeah, she was a little bit on the scurred side last week. Of course, this week though, I said, well then, you want to, we've got a lot of Fireside lore to catch up on, and yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun finally having a fire on a perfectly good night. The moon is nice and bright, and it's a good night for a Fireside lore. It's a really good night for it. I hope your weekends are all starting off nicely. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock, speaking of Destiny, tomorrow, 1 o'clock, we are going to go live with a first day attempt at the Vault of Glass. So we'll see what happens. Not too worried about it. I mean, I've done Vault of Glass before, once successfully, and I still have a lot to learn from it. So, but as I said to Panic earlier, I'm looking to reclaim the Vault of Glass because I had a pretty rough experience with it when I first did it, and I want to reclaim it for my own. I want to reclaim it with the skills that I've got and the team that I've got, and I'm confident that it'll happen. I'm confident that it'll happen. There are going to be a lot of deaths. Just be ready for that. I think there are going to be quite a few deaths, but we're planning. We've given ourselves a good chunk of time to get through it, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens, right? So while the fire is going, while we got great light, and while Pip is still making cocktails, I'm going to go on ahead and read part 4 of the book Pathfinding, and this is called A Guiding Hand. So here we go. Guiding Hand. Ada worked to keep pace with her Elixni guide, weaving through the dimly lit and angular maze in the last city's Elixni quarter. The blur of open windows and doors provided brief glimpses into their new guests' lives. Strips of purple fabric filled wash basins. Jars of unknown food clinked against each other as they boiled in oversized pots, while parents softly clacked their mandibles and watched their infants nestled in gently used blankets. In the distance, attendants surrounded a humming servitor. The guide entered a basement-level dwelling. Ada followed as they pushed through the rough cotton curtain and stood in a warm and humid room laden with myriad rugs and carpet swatches. The city's ambient glow slipped in through a singular small window while candles flickered in a pastiche of glass vessels. A series of futons had been arranged in a semicircle in the middle of the room. There, a band of Elixni lounged on and against the furniture, all listening to the words of a single speaker seated on the floor. The air filled with guttural clicks and low growls that Ada could make no sense of. She finally understood the performance to be over when the audience dispersed, and her guide led her to sit beside the scribe. "You're the one asking questions about Europa, are you not? About salvation?" the scribe asked. Ada frowned. "You speak our language remarkably well." "I had an unusual upbringing," the Elixni replied. "I am Ido. What do you seek, Black Armorer?" Ada sat on a futon, keeping a healthy distance from the Elixni. "I'm searching for information from the Braytech facilities on Europa." "And you believe we have this?" I know some of your people defected from House Salvation. They may have seen something. One of my forebearers, a great weaponsmith, worked at the Bray facilities on Europa, but I'll only know a fraction of what she was doing there. Sorry. Let me try that. I skipped a section. Let me try this again. Gotta go back. Hey, Cat. How are you, Cat? Good to see you in chat. Let's try this again. Let me start from Ada again. Ada sat on a futon, keeping a healthy distance from the Elixni. "I'm searching for information from the Braytech facilities on Europa." "And you believe we have this?" "I know some of your people defected from House Salvation. They may have seen something." Ado nodded. "They have seen many things. One of my forebearers, a great weaponsmith, worked at the Brave facilities on Europa, but I'll only know a fraction of what she was doing there." Ido said. Always about the guns. Ada frowned. Your people are no strangers to weaponsmithing. Ido inhaled. True, and now improbably both our arsenals stand together in the shadow of the great machine.
Ooh.
An alliance that makes it all the more logical for you to help me, Ada said. Ido placed her claws together. I will not help because I cannot. No mentions have been made of anything related to your armory founders. Ada's gaze dropped to the floor. Ido cocked her head and observed the XO. Such despair. Maybe this is about more than guns after all. Ada paused briefly. Ada and Ido, that's a real tough one to get around. I'm glad I'm reading this and not Pip. She might have been like, "Ooh, this is a bit much."
Have a sip of my mojito.
In a second, I'm going to give it myself as a reward. Ido cocked her head and observed the XO. Such despair. Maybe this is about more than guns after all. Ada paused briefly. I lost something. A part of me. Ido nodded solemnly. Your forges, yes? My whole existence was tied to the armory, to those forges. Without them I feel without purpose. Ido finished the thought. Ada shook her head. This isn't... I'm not sure you could understand. Ido chuckled, a guttural grunt combined with clicking teeth. Our history is littered with the banners of lost houses. Most of us have worn more than one color, knelt before kell after kell, hoping that they would be the last. She leaned closer to Ada. Elixni understand the fluidity of purpose very well. Fluidity implies a continuation, Ada replied. She sighed heavily. But it seems my path is coming to an end. Clicks resonated in Ido's jaw. Devil's was a dead house, until Edimus made it new. Mithrax was dusk, and now he is light. Paths only end when we stop walking. Ada studied the Elixni. This is not the conversation I was expecting. If this settlement is going to work, it's probably best to break from old expectations, Ido said. Ada nodded and looked at the light softly radiating through the window. I've taken enough of your time, thank you, she said, and confidently extended her arm with sincere gratitude. A clawed hand landed softly on her shoulder as the Elixni instead thrust her datapad to Ada's outstretched hand. The befuddled XO quickly parsed the screen. This is something we found in the Bray archives. It is not what you were looking for, but it may help you decide where to walk next, Ido said. I'll look into it, I suppose. Good, Ido replied as Ada stood and slid the datapad under her arm. She hesitated. Are you sure it's a good idea to give me this? How will it look to your allies, you helping me like this? Ido chittered. It will look like unity.
Did you read one or two while I was
I
in
read two.
Yeah.
I tried to stall as long as I could.
No,
but,
well,
you know.
I see why bartenders are like, oh, mojitos.
Yeah.
Well, regular mojitos are fine, but when you have to add fruit to them, it takes an extra...
Gus sees you, by the way.
Hey.
Gus sees you.
Does Gus like mojitos?
Gus, do you like mojitos? Pip wants to know. I'm gonna try this one. This is a strawberry mango mojito. Let's see how Pip did. My wife loves me. Ooh, is that good?
Is it good?
Oh, that's good. Cat says hello.
Hey, Cat.
Cat says hello. Just got home after a long day away, but the employee who is leaving for college had a good surprise party and knows how loved she is and how much she will be missed. Is that? I take it that's your daughter, Cat, or is that a different? Is that a different employee? I like mint. Chain Nerd says, I like mint, but not that way. So
Well,
you're missing out then. I'll drink a mojito for you then.
I think the fruit actually tamps down on the mint. I think a straight up mint, just a regular mojito, might be a little bit too much.
It's a nice breath freshener. It's a happy breath freshener.
I like them. They're good on a really hot day.
Chain Nerd's drinking Viking's blood.
Oh, Vikings.
Yeah, Viking's blood's good stuff. Viking blood is very. We have good memories with Viking's blood and Scribe Harris and
Smoky Riders.
Smoky Rider. That's the drink. That's the official drink of Smoky Riders, at least for Lauren and myself. No, I was commenting that while you were reading, I was just leaning back and I had there's a slight chill in the air. There's the smell of honeysuckle coming from the honeysuckle, and then I could just pick up the hint of wood from the fire pit. So it was really nice.
It's a nice evening.
It's a nice night. Oh, it was a worker at the riding stables I'm in the office adminning for. Oh, that's cool. What, do you know where she's going? Do you know what college she's going to? Because that's pretty awesome. College is
Exciting.
It's exciting. We're actually talking to Sunny about it now. I can't believe those words just left my lips. But
I'm
yes,
sure
we're
every
talking,
parent says that when
Yeah.
their kid gets to go to college. It's
But
like,
but the thing is, Sunny has had a very public-facing life.
Yeah.
At least with the
well,
group in here.
not
Not huge. It's not like I've turned her into a
meme machine.
a meme machine. No, I haven't done that. But like Gus remembers.
Oh yeah.
Gus remembers Sunny from the Sonic
She's
Boom
gone to
days.
events and stuff with us.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I do make a meme mojito. So Gus, if I was to make a cocktail for you, if you were to I don't know, come visit, hint, what kind of mixed drink would you like? So far, I'm on a mojito and a mint julep.
Yeah. She's
But
on a
I also
mojito
do.
and mint julep kick.
I also do the. Oh, that's not really a mixed drink, I suppose.
What's on a mixed drink? What's on a mixed drink?
I wouldn't mind learning how to make an old fashioned. That's always a nice, sophisticated.
Oh well,
drink.
Gus is going for the hardcore stuff. He likes a good Mai Tai.
Ooh, a Mai Tai.
A Mai Tai.
With a little umbrella? I think we have some umbrellas.
I think we might have an umbrella for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Miami University in Ohio. Very nice. That's all right. Nicely done. Nicely done for them. Good luck to them too.
You got a story for me to read?
I do, and it's the final part of the book Pathfinding, and this has been a very heartfelt story I've been finding. I'll let you take it from there.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna sit back and enjoy my mojito, everybody.
Lewis.
You gotta introduce it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Chapter 5. Forward. Lewis was the first to notice Ada. The bird's head darted in her direction as it shuffled on its post. Hawthorne turned, a brief look of surprise on her face before she grinned. "If it isn't the reclusive armourer," Hawthorne said. "I was just thinking about checking on you." Ada reached the top of the stairs and marvelled at the expanse of the last city, stretching from Hawthorne's vantage point. "Oh, was I making too much noise again?" Hawthorne shook her head. "The opposite. Way too quiet down there." Ada chuckled. "Things have been going more smoothly as of late." "Glad to hear it," Hawthorne said and nodded. She removed a morsel of meat from the pouch at her waist and tossed spelling error, not quite edited there, at her waist and tossed it towards Lewis, who gobbled it voraciously. "So what was the answer?" "Centuries-old research on meta programming left behind by a megalomaniac," Ada said. Hawthorne whistled. "Sounds like a trip." "It has been. I feel quite changed by this experience," Ada said, a slight lilt to her voice. "Change can be good." Ada watched the engine flares weave through the city's expanse. "There was one thing from our last conversation that stuck with me." Hawthorne raised an eyebrow. "Only one? That's definitely disappointing." "You said you weren't sure if I had any friends," Ada continued. "Ada, I didn't mean to. If I'm being honest, social connection has never been my strong suit. I know that it can be scary to put yourself out there, Especially with everything you've been through, Hawthorne said softly. Ada considered her words. It can be, but I'm finding this new journey to be a little less daunting when I'm willing to walk it with others. Sounds a pretty good lesson, Hawthorne said with a smirk. Ada let her gaze wander over the constellation of architecture gleaming in the last city, the meandering grid of roadways and the rolling landscape beyond. She breathed in deeply, letting the air fill her chassis. I should probably get back down there. I have a lot of work ahead of me, Ada said, clearing her throat. Hawthorne clasped a hand on Ada's shoulder, startling the XO. Don't be a stranger, Ada. You come up from your cave more often. You might find you have more friends than you think.
That's a delightful ending. Neat. Yeah, she was a character. The this XO Ada. She made a really odd appearance a few seasons ago, and she was very prickly. She was a very prickly character, and then when they revamped Destiny, she got almost locked away, and people were like, well, what happened to her? What happened to the Black Armory? What happened to all that? And now she's back, and she's the one in charge of the customizing of the look, and it's like she's found new purpose, and she's mellowed. She's mellowed a bit. Yeah, she's mellowed a bit. But
so did Gus tell me what kind of drink I need to learn?
The drink that you need to learn is an Island Magic. Bartender at the old Balticon made them.
Island Magic.
Yeah,
right.
Coconut rum, cranberry, and pineapple juice.
Ooh.
So there you
I
go.
do not have coconut rum, but I can fix that.
Yeah, that's easily fixed. All right.
So that was 5 stories, was it?
That was 5 stories right there. So let me just go ahead and let me take a look at what we have here. Let's see. There's a lot of weapons. There's a lot of weapons. I just need to find books now. I need to find books. Are those the books? Hang on a minute.
It is a beautiful night out here tonight.
It's a really beautiful night.
It is a really nice night.
Oh, okay. So this looks like here we go. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this is a good one. This looks like a good one. This is currently what is happening. This is currently what is happening in Destiny right now. This particular book. Kat is very jealous of the alcohol drinks. Here's the thing, Kat. Though to be fair, this is the first alcohol I've been able to drink on a Friday night because
you don't have a run.
I don't have a run tomorrow morning. I'm not running until Sunday morning, and I don't mind saying that. My Sunday morning is going to be jam packed. I have an 8-mile run that I'm going to hit starting at I think either 6 or 6:30. I think it's 6. Yeah, 6. Yeah. So we're going to do an 8-mile run. I'm going to then shower, and then I'm going to get to the television because we got to find out who is it. That
ESPN is hosting.
ESPN is hosting the Monaco Grand Prix, and this newfound passion that I've discovered in life, Formula One racing. I'm going to watch my first Monaco Grand Prix.
Although
I'm not going to see all of it though because
at
10:30, we're going to have to hit the record button because at 10:30, Pip and I don't know if Sonny's going to be joining us, but it may just be Pip and I. But we're going to church for the first time in over a year.
Well, actually, more than a year because we didn't go in February because we were at Smokey and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's more like 15 months.
It's been in over a year. That's over a year. And
it's getting on towards 18 months.
And they're doing an outdoor service. So it'll be nice.
And it's Pentecost, so we'll be wearing red.
And it's Pentecost, so we'll be wearing red. I just have to keep track of the red shirt that I bought specifically for Pentecost. But just the fact that all that's happening within the first part of the morning.
It really feels like things are accelerating.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really starting to accelerate.
A lot of things happen. I think there's been more happening in the last month to us than all of 2020. After you got laid off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Apart from stress and panic,
Yeah,
that still continues.
Not the panic we have in here.
No.
Not the panic we have in our chat.
Stress and worry, maybe not
stress
panic.
and-
I don't know if we ever
stress
did we-
and worry.
Did we panic? I don't think we panicked.
I had some low moments.
Yeah, we had low moments.
had some
but I
low
don't know if we ever
moments.
panicked.
Um,
We have our safety net of New Zealand,
yeah.
so we're lucky in that respect.
But Gus says local Saturday farmer and crafter market starts tomorrow. Well,
Yeah.
then mask up and very cool, very good to hear.
We have our local farmers
Yeah,
market.
our local farmer and everyone's still masking up, and I don't think that's necessarily
We've
a bad
seen
thing.
a few people wandering around. I just looked at them and I was like, "Are you sure you're vaccinated?"
Yeah, and that's the thing. We have no way of knowing who's vaccinated and who isn't. But at the same time, we're like, okay, there are going to be people.
Well, we're all
if you give an inch, you'll take a mile. But as far as we're concerned, we're both vaccinated. We've both been incubating, and actually, it was 2 weeks today for me.
Yes, that's right. So
2 weeks today for me.
you're all.
I'm 100%, but I'm still going to wear my mask.
Well, more like 90, whatever percent, 95%. There
I'm-
are still
I'm-
breakthrough cases, but apparently that's what happened to the Yankees.
Oh,
They had
the New
breakthrough
York
cases,
Yankees,
but they only would have not. They only found out because they all get tested. So they were basically asymptomatic cases that, I think, as far as I was aware, asymptomatic cases that were just picked up when they were tested. But it feels like slowly we're creeping back to a sense of normality. I don't think it'll ever go back to normal, and I don't think it should. Maybe we should appreciate the things that the pandemic has taught us, like cooking,
I know that.
cooking and gardening, and
I know that I've learned a lot during this pandemic. I've learned a heck of a lot during this pandemic. Chain Nerd says in other news, 54 days until surgery,
oh, good job.
which I'm very excited for you, Gus. I'm very excited for you about that.
Maybe you can come see us after that,
Yeah, after surgery,
and after you've
absolutely.
recovered.
My kid got a message today, verified with the health department. She has to go get her second shot again. Because
Again?
the last one was compromised. That
well,
sucks.
unfortunately, that's going to happen because
Yeah.
there's just so many shots, and people are probably.
And they're probably sitting. I mean, there have been stories about people who haven't gotten their shots, so those doses go bad, and they try to get them to places where people need shots,
Yeah.
which is
When you're
also
especially
disappointing. But here's Kat. Here's my 2 cents for your kiddo. Have them start hydrating 2 days before. Not overhydrating, but just have them regularly drinking water. Just have them regularly drinking water. After they get their second shot, not only drink water, but immediately after, drink Gatorade. I was alternating on Friday and the Saturday after. I was drinking Gatorade and water, Gatorade and water, Gatorade and water. And I was expecting a way worse, because I've heard all the horror stories about Moderna. I was expecting a way worse reaction to it, and it didn't happen.
We all of us. I mean, I think it's important that people talk about the fact that the side effects weren't bad, because all you do seem to hear is people who are like, "Oh, I was feverish for a week," and
I was never.
Which can
yeah.
happen, but
Yeah.
I think there's also you need to speak your own truth about the fact we had sore arms.
We did have sore arms.
We were a little tired the day after.
The only time that I really felt bad was I was having a chat with somebody from Balticon. I'm going to be participating in 2 panels on the virtual Balticon, and I was chatting with them, and that was when a wave of just aches. It felt like a wave just sort of wash over me, and I said, okay, I got to get to bed. And I slept for maybe 2 hours, and I was fine. I was fine immediately after. And as many of you saw in my quick take, I did get a superpower. I did get a COVID superpower. I now dance like Baron Zemo, so I'm pretty proud of that. If you want to see that, you can go to my YouTube channel and you'll see it there. I was super fortunate in my reactions. Pfizer 1, sore arm. Shot 2, some waves of tiredness and mental sluggishness that afternoon and evening. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're prepared, Joe.
I think if you're prepared not to do anything the next day,
A lot of people get them on Friday. So
and heck, that was the other thing. We're talking. I got my shot on Friday, and then Saturday I got.
You ran.
No, Saturday was recovery, and then Sunday I ran a 10K. So, I had that going for me. All right, so here's our new book. We're going to go on ahead and read from this new book. This is, again, from the current season of the Splicer in Destiny 2. This is the book Beneath the Endless Night. And the first chapter is called Acceptance. I'm the most qualified for this. Crow's voice reverberated off the immense window, making the Vanguard commander's office feel even more cavernous than it was. At night, the edge of Zavala's office were usually dark, but the miasma of Vex energy that swirled in the city below made it more so. Crow sighed and paced in the gloom like a caged animal. Zavala faced the window and stood, unmoving, a statue card of Larimar depicting a test of infinite patience. He glanced over at Ikora, her hands gently clasped as she watched Crow with disquieted contemplation. We know, she said after what felt like an eternity, but your expertise and relationship with the Elixni aren't the only deciding factors here. Exactly how long am I going to be continually tried in a court of public opinion? Crow asked pointedly. And when in this trial will I be given a clear understanding of what I'm on trial for? Just so you know, Crow is actually a guy named Aldrin Sav, and he's the guy that killed Cade.
Right.
But he can't remember that because he was brought back to be a guardian. But the other problem too is that if he remembers what he did, there's an explosive in his head put on by Spider, and basically it would kill him. It would kill him if he found out. So there's some complications with Crow.
Hard to put that person on trial then.
Yes, it is. Zavala regarded the Awoken's reflection in the window. It reminded him of a near-fatal walk through the gardens not all that long ago. His shoulders sagged. Crow, Zavala said as he turned to face him. This is a delicate situation. The consensus has come down hard on us for welcoming the Elixni into the city, and I can't have them using you as another bludgeon. So that's all this is. Political maneuver. Crow pushed. To protect yourselves, no hard feelings, nothing behind the looks you give me when you don't think I'm watching? Zavala stiffened, and Crow sensed the conversational temperature in the room change. This matter aside, if your past identity became public before we have a plan in place, it could cause considerable harm to you and the people you care about, Ikora said evenly. People who have come to care about you, she added. For a long time no one spoke, and when Crow did, his voice was small. Then what? I keep hiding from the shadow of the man I was before, forever? Not forever, Ikora said firmly. But for now. Crow shifted his focus to Ikora and saw the hurt in her eyes. He'd seen it in Amanda's, too, whenever she spoke of the dead. Without another word, he nodded and left. Ikora closed her eyes, and the breath she'd been holding slowly left her. He's going to Osiris, she warned. And if Osiris is half the leader he's shown himself to be, he'll tell him the same thing, Zavala said with great fatigue, finally sinking into his chair. In the momentary silence that settled between them, Ikora felt an unspoken reciprocation of the generations-old friendship. I don't know how long we can protect him, she confessed. Neither do I. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's really complicated, the relationship with Crow in the whole Vanguard thing. It's tough.
So is Crow the new Vanguard?
Crow is being groomed to be the new Vanguard. It's possible. They've been hinting for a long time that Crow is going to be the new Hunter Vanguard, because the Hunters still do not have a Vanguard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's complicated. It's very complicated. Sphinxy says, thank you for the advice. Oh, cool. And hey, Randy, good to see... Oh, did I tell you?
Randy made a...
Randy made a crossbow from scratch.
Wow.
and we saw the video with her in it, and it's really cool. It's
I'll have to
really
watch
really cool.
that.
I have it pulled up on my my YouTubes downstairs.
On the tubes
on
of
the
you?
tubes on the tubes of you, and that's tubes TUBEZ. You know.
Well, that's
on the
very
tubes of you.
important to know in
Yeah.
in the apocalypse times.
Yes,
You
exactly.
need somebody who can make a crossbow.
Exactly. All right. So this is the next. This is our next chapter. I'm going to sit back and let Pip do her thing while I enjoy my strawberry mango mojito. She nailed it, chat. She nailed it. Okay, and this is chapter.
This is chapter 2, Fractures. Zavala stared at the terminal window until the words blurred together.
Oh, that's so
He lowered
good.
his head and rubbed his eyes, trying to collect his thoughts. There were reports from hunters in the field. Increased Vex activity across the system. Coordinated attacks on Vanguard operations. Anomalous disturbances within the city. All on top of Elixny and human...
Elixny.
Elixny. All on top of Elixny and human confrontations within the city's walls. A buzzing hum bloomed to life over Zavala's shoulder, followed by the gentle weight of a ghost that came to settle there. Is this the best use of your time? Taj wondered aloud, which elicited a look from the corner of Zavala's eyes. Taj rarely spoke, but when he did, there was always purpose. I don't recall asking for your opinion, Zavala said as he tried to refocus. I don't recall giving one. Zavala turned this time to give Taj another look. You two can't keep doing the work of 3 people, Taj insisted. Talk to Anna again. Zavala leaned back in his chair. Taj, there is no way I'm going to convince... An alert chimed at the command console to his right. Incoming call from Empress Katal?
Keitel.
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 Incoming call from Empress Keitel, Taj says wearily.
And if you're curious as to what Empress Keitel sounds like, she sounds something like this. Picture a very bossy Klingon.
Taj says wearily. Let it go to Depot. Zavala stubbornly rose from his chair. No, he said, retrieving the call. Keitel's imperial seal appeared on the screen with the notice, audio only. Empress Keitel, to what do I owe the pleasure? Zavala asked, tiredly scratching a hand over his stubble. Taj watched for a moment before he dematerialized. Commander, Keitel greeted, her voice swelling to fill the room as if she was standing there. The fleet's long-range sensors detected a growing anomaly located in the vicinity of the last city. Why the sudden concern? Keitel snorted. I bear no concern, Commander. But if the Vanguard was suddenly annihilated, it would behoove me to at least be aware. Of course, Zavala said softly. Well, we're still here. For now. The leading edge in her tone hooked him. Why really calling? There was no response from the other side for a few moments. When Keitel spoke next, her tone was as measured as before, but lacked any performative airs. Lakshmi 2's latest broadcast to the city reached our fleet, she said. You are truly a proud hawk standing in a nest of vipers, aren't you? Lakshmi is a politician. Words are most dangerous of weapons, Commander, Keitel reminded him. It begins as whispering convictions, then full-voiced dissent, and the next thing you know, you'll wake up with a knife driven into your chest. Spoken from experience? Zavala jabbed back. Spoken from experience. Keitel doubled down, unashamed. Lakshmi is undermining the Vanguard's authority by diminishing your role in the eyes of the people. Spoken loudly enough and often enough, her words may begin to make sense even to those who are not of the same mind. Zavala sighed, and Keitel felt its weight all the way across the system. I trust you to honor the terms of our armistice. I do not trust whomever your successor might be, Keitel warned. Zavala weighed anger and intrigue against one another, finding the scales a useless tool in arbitrating his response to the situation. He stepped back to the console and did as Cade might say, just wing it. This is not the first threat to my authority I've weathered, Zavala said, his voice rising. So don't delude yourself into thinking otherwise. And don't you dare come at me with whatever remorse you might be feeling about deposing your father. Zavala heard the low rumble of an appreciative vocalization over the speakers. I do not feel remorse because Callus was my father, Keitel explained, her tone softening. I feel remorse because of what Gaul did to my people. We opened the door for the hive, handed Zvu Arath.
So was it? Oh. Zivu Arath. Zivu Arath. She doesn't play the game, Chad.
Yeah.
Just give her a break. Zivu Arath.
Handed Zivu Arath a knife and was surprised when we felt the kiss of steel in our spine. I hate to see a warrior I admire and respect do the same with a less worthy adversary. But perhaps you are not in need of such
She's selling the chat. She's selling it.
Counsel. Zavala looked up, out to the lightless city beyond, and closed his eyes. And what counsel is that? What Keitel said next was not in the voice of an empress, but a friend. Umuna Rath was my most trusted counselor. The darkness has many hands. Will you recognize its caress before it finds your throat?
Nice job, baby. Nice job. You got thrown a lot in there. Zivu Arath, Keitel. What was the other one you got there? You got Zivu Arath, you got Keitel, you had...
Gaul.
Gaul. Well, Gaul is easy. Gaul.
Gaul is Gaul.
Gaul is Gaul.
Have you finished your...
I'm getting there. I'm enjoying it. Thank you very much.
No,
I'm
just
enjoying that.
I gave you the bigger
I'm not going to rush through it.
I gave you the slightly bigger one.
Oh, did you now?
Yeah. Well, I'd already... This is my second, so I thought, well, let's catch them up.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So a little bit of backstage trivia when it comes to voice actors. The same voice actor that voices Amanda Holliday in Destiny 2 chat, she was the voice of Keitel, and whenever we hear Keitel, that is actually the voice of Courtney Taylor. And so yeah, that's that's a nice little bit of trivia.
I just found out that I worked out who the voice actress was who's doing Genesis on the Bad Batch.
Who is it?
Somebody I watched, and I feel like it was not that long ago, but of course
Genesis.
it was.
Which one's Genesis on the Bad
Oh no,
Batch?
sorry, is it not Genesis? Omega. Sorry, Omega.
Oh, Omega.
The girl.
Omega. Yeah, who is it?
She is a young Chinese New Zealand actress who I saw when she was like a teenager doing stuff in New Zealand.
Really?
Now she's 37. I'm
Oh,
like,
wow.
holy.
How'd that happen? Yeah, we just started the Bad Batch here from Disney Plus. It's not bad. It's actually quite good. I'm not 100% sold on the animation style, but I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to it.
It's like the Clone Wars.
It is like the Clone Wars, and I just had no desire to either see the Clone Wars because one, I wasn't digging in the wasn't digging the animation style. And the other thing I really just had no desire about was the whole Clone Wars because I was not a fan of the the prequel trilogy. I really wasn't. And ironically, it wasn't the so for the original Star Wars trilogy, I was a big fan of the first movie. I loved, of course, The Empire Strikes Back. And Return of the Jedi just didn't age well. The more I watched Return of the Jedi, the more I'm like, wow, we were satisfied with this because we didn't have anything between Empire and this. And yeah, Return of the Jedi wrapped everything up in a nice big bow, but it was like, meh, that's about it. With the new trilogy, though, the one that just came before, I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed The Force Awakens. I really did not care for The Last Jedi. I really did not care for The Last Jedi. And then I enjoyed to some extent, The Rise of Skywalker. I did enjoy it. but I also felt it kind of cheap because they spent the first half hour retconning everything from the first
It was
movie.
an odd trilogy, really.
It was a trilogy that really should have had one director. It was a trilogy that
they
should have had
they should
one director.
One creative person directing the whole three.
And it kind of, I didn't think it was necessarily bad, the rise of Skywalker. I didn't think it was bad, but I think that Rian Johnson had done so much damage in The Last Jedi that J.J. Abrams.
It was totally encapsulated in when Rey gives Luke the lightsaber, and then he just
Luke
tosses
it, and you're like,
we're doing this.
We're doing this. Okay, Rian. I guess we're doing this. And the funny thing was that when I went to go see Knives Out, I was actually kind of bracing for that sort of.
He is a very talented director.
Yeah.
I just shouldn't have been on Star Wars.
He was a talented director, but he was a talented director that had no business being in Star Wars.
No, I think he's better served in Knives Out. So
yeah.
Rant
Done.
/rant.
/rant done. All right, I'm gonna throw some. Oh wait, you actually are behind one, so
I'm gonna read. Okay.
So you're gonna read that part as well, while I throw some kindling.
How do you say that word? The two.
Well, you gotta.
Elixni?
The Elixni.
The Elixni, okay.
The Elixni.
All right.
Roll off the tongue. The Elixni.
Chapter 3, Gifts from the Shore. Though the metal crate they were carrying likely weighed more than they did, the two Elixni gave Saint 14 a wide berth on their way to the Elixni quarter. Oh, see how they distrust, Saint grumbled. Amanda Holliday scanned the crate into her data pad. The unexpected shipment of emergencies.
So what you need to know real quick. When you read Saint 14, you must read
Saint 14 is Russian?
Saint 14 is Russian.
What is Amanda Holliday?
Amanda Holliday is country girl. She is country girl.
Okay.
So there you are. Saint 14 and Amanda Holliday.
Sure.
All right, here we go. This ought to be good.
You see how they distrust?
There you go.
Saint grumbled.
There you go.
Amanda Holliday scanned the crate into her data pad. The unexpected shipment of an emergency supplies from the tangled shore nearly offloaded. Don't be such a sourpuss, she said lightly.
Her southern accent is so cute, chat.
Mix him with New York folks. Mix him with new folks, good for the soul. I mix, objected Saint.
I mix.
But the fallen, they do not enjoy my company. And I feel the same for them. Maybe that's exactly why Cora picked you for this, Amanda said. Though Saint was fully helmeted, she could swear he rolled his eyes. Two more Alexni came bearing another crate. One noticed Saint too late and stumbled, dropping the crate. Its security locks popped as it crashed to the ground. A young Alexni wearing House of Light colours and a bright orange and blue Vanguard lanyard scampered over in distress. Saint sighed. He's fine, he said to the Alexni. Spider probably send more surplus from old House of Dusk. Knowing you carry supplies from our enemies is great joke to him. He dragged the crate out of the walkway with one hand and knelt to repair the locks. As Amanda scanned the damaged crate, the young Alexni came closer. He eyed Saint warily, then held up a sheet of papers like a shield. Manifest, he said haltingly. Thank you, Amanda said with unforced brightness. She tapped her datapad. I've got it digitally. You got it digitally? Echoed the Elixni. He fidgeted for a moment, then proudly held up the badge on his lanyard, which read, Temporary. Amanda smiled. What you got there?
Roll top desk. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Authorization for unloading of supplies from Tangled Shore, of supplies sent from Spider, he said. He leaned in slowly, looking carefully at Saint and Amanda. My gentleman, he added slyly. Amanda snorted so abruptly that Saint fumbled with the lock, crushing it in his hand. Saint looked up. Can you two not be quiet? Come on now, Amanda admonished Saint lightly. I don't hear you practicing your Alexni, and this fella's doing his best to bridge the gap. Amanda turned back to the Alexni. That ain't exactly right, but you speak our language pretty well, she said. Thank you, answered the Alexei, clearly eager for conversation. Do all humans here serve spider kill? Serve spider? Amanda spat. Spider's nothing but a... And the five-spirited word that followed were replete with hard consonants. The Alexei froze, wary of her tone, while not understanding her words. Amanda caught herself and took a breath. Which is our way of saying he's a kind and generous individual, she said to the Alexei, who nodded along with her. This lock has been ruined by distractions, Saint said as he rose to his feet. He removed the lid and looked inside, then lifted a loose coil of rubbery tubes. Servitor plugs, filters, ether circulators. The Titan made a confused noise. Something wrong? Amanda asked. Not at all, mumbled Saint as he picked up a small golden cylinder trailing braided sapphire cords. This breather alone is worth more than my ship. Amanda moved towards Saint and looked for herself. She recognized a few necessary survival items: condensed prefab ceramic plating, vapor distillers, generator couplings. But amongst the tubes and filters were otherworldly treasures. A nanomesh sphere filled with a thick pink liquid, a chrome conduit splitter with entropic plating, a glimmering opal sparkling in a nest of delicate lavender sponges. What the hell is Spider playing at? Amanda said to herself. She called out to the Alexei. Are they all like this? Yes, each one is very full of delights from our culture, from our home. We are very thanks. He cocked his head and clicked. Thankful? Amanda nodded. Let me see the manifest, she said, taking the papers from the Alexei. He nodded and rejoined the other workers. They will need many of our resources to stay here, Saint said as he carefully resealed the crate. But this will make things easier. I am surprised Spider is so generous, even to his own people. Amanda frowned at the manifest. This doesn't make sense, she said. There's a note at the top. Don't know what half this stuff is, but it's got to be good if Spider had it. It's all written by hand, and there ain't any values for anything on here. Saint looked at the papers over Amanda's shoulder. The crates come from Spider's storehouse, he said. If he did not send them, who did? Look at this listing, Amanda continued. This item says best osmosis filters, hidden in his bottom drawer. This item is just a row of question marks. Here's one listed as a clock thing. This line says, noisy cube, smells bad, but everyone likes it. What's with this signature? Amanda squinted at a shape scrawled at the bottom of the form. It's a ship, she guessed, handing the paper to Saint. The Titan turned his head as he looked at the drawing. Aha! He cried, slapping the paper with the back of his hand. Look, his bird. Amanda looked again at the uneven charcoal lines and could just make out a wobbly black bird. She let out a long breath and shook her head. Awful artist, she said. But I guess he's an all right guy. And suddenly, she was smiling. So who was that sending them stuff? This bird person.
Oh, it's got to be Crow.
Blackbird.
Crow.
Blackbird, yeah.
It's got to be Crow. It must be Crow.
He's Crow.
Is Crow. We do love our Saint 14. He is good. He is good guy.
He is Titan.
He is Titan. He is typical Titan. I will crush you, and then I will hug you if you are ally, and we will drink vodka out of your helmet. We do all love our Saint 14. He has relationship with Osiris.
They good friends?
They are more than good friends. They are in relationship.
Oh, they are lovers.
Yes, very exclusive, especially at least when you talk to Saint 14.
Yes. Well, according to Saint 14, is
according to Saint 14, is exclusive.
What about Osiris?
Osiris is very tight-lipped on matter, but Saint 14 says I will answer for him. We are exclusive. Trust me. when we sit down, I pat them on knee and go, it's okay. You tell them about our relationship and how good it is. Go on, pretend I
You
not
can
here.
say you can say anything.
You can say anything. It's all right.
Is that the last of the wood from that little pile there?
From this little pile, yes.
Yeah. I like Saint 14. He have good accent.
He has wonderful accent.
He's good
Although
looking.
I get
What?
harassed. because-
He not EXO though.
What?
Is he EXO?
He is not EXO. He is just big man. He is big Titan in armor. I have never seen. No one, at least no one in game, has ever seen Saint 14's face. But I picture it being very lovable,
With like a red beard, big red beard.
like big red beard. I picture it like Dolph Lundgren, but not Dolph Lundgren from action films. Dolph Lundgren, who has degree in chemistry.
You think Saint 14 has a degree in something?
I believe Saint 14 is Titan with degree.
He probably studied poetry.
I studied the romantic poets, and I also studied metaphysics. But then I gave up.
Philosophy.
And I even studied philosophy, but then I gave up when I found out it was good to punch people.
Then I was like,
Then I was like, I am all in. All right. Wow. There's a tangent for you, chat.
there goes the kids in the neighborhood.
There goes the kids in the neighborhood. They're gonna go drag racing somewhere.
Hopefully not up and down our.
Hopefully.
Probably.
Not. Hopefully
It
not.
probably is
Hopefully
where they're
not.
going.
But that's probably where they're going. Anyway.
That is a nice fire.
This
Look
is
at
a
that.
good fire. Man,
So there's no wood on that side
I'm
anymore.
making. There's no more wood on that side over there, but I'm making up for this, chat.
pile of wood with concern.
I
plenty
I
of wood.
tried.
Still plenty of wood.
Still plenty of wood. Are you sure we don't have
Yes,
to call
it's full.
Woodman?
It is full.
We could still call Woodman.
Not right now.
It's good to have wood. It's
Woodman
good
is sleeping.
That's what she said. It's good to have wood. So anyway, yeah.
Woodman
I've
not
tried
bring-
twice. I've tried twice. In Soviet Russia, fire burns you. Yes.
I would hope so.
Chain Nerd says, poetry and metaphysics. I studied physics and meta poetry. All right, let's get back to it. From the book of Beneath the Endless Night. This is part 4, Conspirators. Arak Jalal narrowed his eyes with impatience as Dead Orbit's head of logistics struggled to satisfactorily account for the faction's supply caches. The pair had been wandering around the massive hangar for an hour while an enormous ship was being loaded in the background. Jalal had seen the celestial disappearances and the encroachment of the Black Fleet as clear signs that Dead Orbit's final exodus must soon begin. He had ordered a redoubling of departure preparations, but found the faction's rank and file struggling to keep pace. Jalal cut off his subordinate's bumbling presentation. This is insufficient. Earth will soon be behind us, and Dead Orbit will have to survive on the supplies that we provide. His mild tone and half-lidded gaze underscored the gravity of his words. Supplies that you are in charge of tracking. You do understand that, don't you? A furious blush spread across the administrator's face. He bowed his head and scuttled away as Jalal crooked his head in annoyance. Behind him, a raspy voice floated up from the maze of towering crates. Leaving us so soon, Jalal. That is my best Sharia Agadushlu. I'm sorry, it's the best I can do. He turned to find Lakshmi II and Executor Hideo. The future Woe Cult leader stood formally, hands clasped behind her, while the head of the new monarchy browsed the ship's crate with casual interest. This is an impressive collection. I had no idea Dead Orbit was so well funded. Hideo gestured broadly to the crates. Jalal shrugged. It's a life's work, Hideo. Everything we need to reseed the human species elsewhere. You should join us. We're fine where we are, thank you, Lakshmi interjected. As a matter of fact, that's why we've come. Jalal bowed his head and gestured towards the hangar exit. The trio ambled outside. Hideo and I are concerned about the current Vanguard leadership, Lakshmi began carefully. Jalal allowed himself a mirthless chuckle. Yes, I've heard your open editorials. You are becoming quite the demagogue. I've never known you held such strong feelings about the fallen. If it's an indictment to speak the truth, then so be it. Lakshmi fired back, sharper than intended. The fallen have been a useful catalyst, but that doesn't mean we are wrong. Perhaps not about the vanguard, Jalal replied, but the cult is hemorrhaging members, and I doubt it's your best and brightest remaining. Those who wish to leave are free to do so, Lakshmi said with a pointed glance toward the dead orbit ship. We'll be stronger without them. Zavala and Akora have been ineffective since the speaker died. Executive Hideo cut in. The disappearance of the planets caught them unprepared. They're allowing Guardians to use the darkness, and now they cut a deal with the Cabal? It's just too much. But what's not too much is Jimmy Page the God 14. That's a lot right there. Just dropped in a follow. Thank you very much. Could you react to a song? No. I cannot, because right now this is Fireside Lore. But thank you, Jimmy, for popping in. I do appreciate it. But no, right now we're doing Fireside Lore. Also, we can't react to a song because, to be fair, that would set me up for a DMCA, and I'm not looking for a DMCA. I'm not looking for a violation. I've got a clean record. I'm keeping it that way. All right. So back to it. But you can stick around though, Jimmy. You can stick around and enjoy my best impersonation of Sheree Agadushlu.
You won't get a DMCA for that.
I'm not going to get a DMCA for that, but I may get hate mail from Sheree Agadushlu, which would be
fine by you.
Fine by me. I'd be more than happy about that. Okay. The disappearance of the planets caught them unprepared. They're allowing Guardians to use the darkness, and now they've cut a deal with the Cabal. It's just too much. We must have leadership whose point of view is more closely aligned to that of the people, Lakshmi said. And who do you propose exactly? Jalal stopped the trio in a corner of a broad thoroughfare, where the rumble of cargo movers masked their conversation. Saladin was our first choice, Hideo added with an ill-concealed smirk. But he's not as cutthroat as he seems. Apart from the Iron Lord has a soft it appears the Iron Lord has a soft spot for Commander Zavala. Lakshmi gave Hideo a look, as though he had revealed too much. We are now considering Saint 14, she said, pointedly bringing the conversation back to the present. Jalal raised an eyebrow. Who else is committed to your little coup? We have someone in a position of influence, someone who can ensure an orderly transfer of power, Lakshmi answered. That person would have to be very clever indeed, Javal said gravely. For your sakes, Ikora Ray is not a target to miss. The moment stretched as Jalal measured the situation. He had long considered what a change of leadership might mean for Dead Orbit, for the resettlement and survival of the human species, and, as always, the allure of personal power, a position of eminence in a dying society, was a constant temptation. Hey there, Panic. Welcome back. What did you pick up from the Indian place? I should have asked. We're kind of we love our we love our Indian food here. You know, I can't stand it. I know you planned it. I'm going to set it straight, this Watergate. It's not a mirage, baby. You know what it is? It's sabotage.
Get back to the story. Oh.
That's the name of it.
Is this 5? This is 5.
That is part 5. Yes, that is part 5. That's part 5.
Part 5.
Yeah, I need to work. Sabotage. Turn it. There you go.
24 humans, their faces mostly covered with makeshift masks, slunk into the Botsa district under cover of darkness. Some were armed with weapons, though most carried workaday tools like crowbars and wrenches. They planned to infiltrate the Elixni Quarter and find evidence of aggression. If that failed, they would send a clear message that the House of Light was unwelcome in the last city. Knives tore into banners, noxious fumes filled the air, paint cans rattled. The hum of the machinery around them disguised the sounds of their labour, while hushed voices conferred in terse, conspiratorial tones. "I think this is their food," a young woman whispered to her male companion, while warily looking over her shoulder. She didn't see anyone as they crouched by a large ether tank, but she imagined the Alexni crowded together in that nearby building. Did they even sleep? Here, give me a hand with this, her companion said, pointing to what he guessed was a control panel. Together they pried the faceplate off, revealing a mess of wiring beneath. They shared a furtive glance and began pulling out wires by the fistful, hands shaky, their blood pounding in their ears. A low whistle like a bird call fluttered through the night air. When they looked up, a hunter stood over them only a few paces away, his face shadowed by a cowl. He held his hand cannon at hip level, aimed straight at them.
Uh-oh.
Their co-conspirators, drawn by the sound, gathered in their periphery, mentally calculating their chances. Not a single one liked the odds. Even those who came armed expected to fight the fallen, not a guardian. The hunter called out in a half-whisper, "I don't want any trouble." The woman stood frozen as the young man beside her moved towards the hunter, his jaw set. "No," his companion hissed. "Are you crazy?" She grabbed his arm to haul him behind the ruined ether tank, but he wrenched free. The young man stepped slowly towards the hunter. "You're on the wrong side of this thing," he started. The hunter pulled back on his hand cannon's hammer with an audible click. "I don't think I am," he replied. Unwilling to test the hunter's mettle, the young man called over his shoulder, "Let's go!" The hunter narrowed his eyes. He watched as the young man slinked past him and spat at his feet. Something old and terrible rose up inside of the hunter. It took all of his focus to steady his hand. The conspirators peeled away from their hiding places, one by one, disappearing into the dark. Some hissed choice insults and dispersions at the hunter under their breath, though none dared to look at him. In just a few minutes the block was deserted except for the hunter, who stood alone in the street until his ghost compiled over his shoulder. Complied over his shoulder? That should be compiled, shouldn't it?
Did you say it again?
Until his ghost complied over his shoulder.
Complied, yeah.
That's weird. Compiled?
Yeah. Push on.
It chirped with concern. "You really wouldn't have shot them, right?" The hunter hesitated as he holstered his weapon. "They needed to know I was serious, Glint."
Oh, it's Crow.
"Yeah, but you weren't," his ghost insisted. Wordlessly, the hunter began making his way through the destruction. Someone would sound the alarm soon. He didn't want to be there when they did. "Tell me you weren't serious," his ghost said again, lagging behind him. "Were you?"
So what's going on? Just to give you a little bit of framework. Basically, the fallen. There's a group of fallen called the Elixni, or there's a it's like.
Do they have little babies with glowing eyes?
They have the babies with glowing eyes. They have the small one, and
they're the smalls.
They're all the feeling, and they have they're basically looking for refuge.
Okay,
and
they're refugees.
The refugees and the fallen have been this race of fallen who call themselves the House of Light because they're still loyal to the Traveler. They have been given a place in the last city, and
people don't like it.
Well, there's a lot of conflict.
There's an element of people.
There's an element of people that they're, it's like.
Well, it's like immigration.
It's like any immigration.
Oh shit! I didn't want to put it near there because otherwise it would break in the heat.
All right. Well, I need to get to the. But anyway, so the so there's a group of fallen that are now in the last city, and there are some people who are like, wait a minute, these were the first enemies we fought against. How is this cool?
Because can't be. Don't go through that way. There's a glass there.
Thank you.
Put it there.
Yep. So it's causing a little bit. It's causing a little bit of tension. It's causing tension in the ranks, and there are some of the people like Saint 14 is against it. Lakshmi has been saying some really awful things, and she's justifying this because she's saying, they're called future war cult because they're using math and computations and also maybe some of the space magic that warlocks do, and they're looking ahead and they're seeing the fallen standing over the ruins of the last city, and they think it's the Elixni. So they've been jumping to a lot of conclusions. Meanwhile, Zavala and Ikora, they're all sticking up for the fallen.
Yeah.
And it's just so this has been a really interesting season already.
And why does the crow want to help them?
Because he also feels like an outcast. He feels like an outcast as well. All right, so now we get to part 6, and this part is called Understanding. This is Understanding. Ikora Ray strode into the future war cult headquarters. It had the air of a church, hushed and reverent, but the air of sanctity was undercut by the intrusion of Vex technology. Wires climbed like vines across the ceiling, and the air was filled with the faint smell of ozone. In the middle of the room, reclined on a seat reminiscent of both throne and operating table, was Lakshmi too. Her face was obscured by a helmet that connected to the mesh of wiring above. Studious cultists shuffled about with their heads bowed, glancing suspiciously at Ikora. As the warlock advanced, a cultist held up a single finger, commanding both silence and patience. Ikora's eyes narrowed. The cultist whispered into a small microphone next to the device. Its subaudible hum had been inconspicuous, but once it powered down, the quiet felt overwhelming to Ikora. Lakshmi sat in repose, presumably orientating herself into the current timeline. "Leave us," she said without opening her eyes. "We'll resume at 14:25. Her subordinates filtered from the room, looking past Ikora as if she were invisible. Lakshmi finally opened her eyes and fixed them on the warlock. "I assume you're here to bargain." "I'm not." Ikora's tone was calm and cold. "I'm here to issue a warning of my own." "Warn me." Lakshmi laughed, her voice thin. "If we have any further incidents on account of your incitement, I will personally find a remote, icy moon to leave you on." Lakshmi tutted. "Only small minds classify prophecy as provocation." She stood up and smoothed her garments. "Certainty in the face of the unknown is the province of zealots." Ikora eyed the device. "And the insane. This isn't a debate. And yet you are still here. Come, Ikora, you've not seen what I have." Lakshmi gestured to the device. "The Botsa district, under assault for a second time. Saint 14, pinned down by gunfire. And you," she trailed off, "screaming for help over the comms." "How many of your prophecies have gone unfulfilled, Lakshmi?" Ikora snapped. "I wish you could hear yourself, how afraid you sound." "All those years studying under Osiris, and you're still so naive," Lakshmi replied. Ikora's anger flared. She advanced on the cult leader. "Cut the bullshit." Well, it's BS, but let's say what it says, okay? "Cut the bullshit or suffer the consequences. Understand?" Undaunted, Lakshmi's artificial eyes shone bright. "Understood." Ikora stepped back and let her anger pass out of her with a sigh. "Then we're done here." She turned on her heels and strode out. As she left, Ikora wondered whose prophecy she had just fulfilled, Lakshmi's or her own. That gives you an idea about the tensions. There you go. There you go. The tensions are getting high, chat.
So how many have we done now? 11.
Yeah, we're at chapter 7 right now.
Okay.
I think there are 10 chapters in this.
Okay.
We don't have to rifle through them.
This will be my last one, I think.
Is your alcohol kicking in?
No, my headache is. So.
Oh, well, we'll do it.
Chapter 7. Ripe. I walk through the city on broken legs. I am conspicuous, but the people here grant me many affordances. I chose this form well. I sway and catch myself on a low stone wall. I am ready earlier than anticipated, but I must still learn the next step. I look up toward the false dusk I have hung, but it is not yet finished. I am afraid. But it is thrilling to engage in something new after all this time, something unknown. I close my eyes tightly so they do not bulge. The feeling passes. I open my eyes and search the faces of the people around me for familiarity. I did not mean to. I twist inwardly with disgust. When they first reached me, I reached back in acid mockery, and they opened themselves to me in stupid, naked ignorance. I was giddy. My fingers raked their minds. I forced my will through them, using only words, and met no resistance. Their naivete was beyond description, and I feasted until my eyes welled with black tears. Now I reach as often as they do, and when they reach back, I am thankful. I speak with them. I seek their company, their companionship. This is not pity, for I know pity. What is this? I drop to both knees, clear my mouth, and vomit. The thin black fluid turns to vapor and disappear. I clench the gangling black mass that threatens to unspool recklessly from within this shell of flesh. My new arms are too thin, too weak. My new shell still bound with thick mucus. Not yet, I say. A moment of blackness, and then a man places his hands on me, on my shoulders, on my back. He asks if I am ill, and he sees my flat eyes, my teeth black with ripeness, and he prepares to scream. I let him keep his mind. I push breath up and through my ruined mouth and speak a simple lie. He stops, smiles, laughs, shakes his head. He points a finger at me in mocking admonishment before walking away. I swallow the fatty morsel of his ignorance, and it gives me the strength to stand once more, cover my face, and resume my walk. I feel this form splitting beneath its wrappings, held together weakly by wet strands of sinew, and from deep inside, stirred by that latest scrap of deception, I hear the oily growl of the worm. Even here, basted in deception both ample and rich, the worm cries ravenously. It has grown grotesque, skin taunt, overfed, and still it howls for more. It commands me to keep it alive. I look up beyond the flickering net of darkness and see what rests just beyond, waiting for me. The worm roars.
I don't...
Who's that supposed to be?
Not a clue. Oh, the worm gods. Ooh. I wonder how they're connected with the lore that's going on. This is the first I've heard of the worm gods. That's
Is
interesting.
that something that's just come out?
That's something. No, I mean that's this season. So somehow the worm gods are involved, and we thought we had seen the last of the worm gods when we lost Mars. But you know what?
Maybe they got off.
Maybe they have infiltrated the last city somehow. I'm not really sure. This is
all new?
That was all new to me.
Well, I'm going to go inside, I think.
All right.
Oh, two mojitos. And
2 mojitos and you're tapping out?
so good night, chat. I think how many are we going to get through?
Well, I mean, I have 3 more for this book, and then I think we're going to call it.
Okay.
But would you mind taking in this glass?
I do not mind taking in your glass.
All right.
Was it a good mojito? Did I do it?
It was a fantastic mojito. Are you kidding? I asked for a strawberry mango mojito, and I got a strawberry mango mojito.
It'll cost you $13.
Gus says that they send their love, and they're going to call it a night as well.
Okay,
So
good night, Gus.
So good night, Gus. Good night, Gus, and thank you. Thanks for hanging out with us. And then there was one. Last man standing, everybody. Last man standing. And it is a perfect night for this sort of thing. And I don't mind going a little late because I can actually sleep in because I'm not tackling VOG until 1 o'clock when it goes live, so I should be good. I can sleep in a little bit. That'll be nice. No run tomorrow, but Sunday morning 8 miles, so that's going to be the big challenge. But what a great night for this. It's just a slight chill in the air. The honeysuckle's still working overtime, and I got a nice fire going here. So we are going to continue on with the book beneath the beneath the endless night. And this is all lore from Destiny, Paul. This is all lore from Destiny, and this is book 7, Gilded Knives. Again, this is from the book Beneath the Endless Night. And I'm trying to process what Pip just read, because that had to do with what's currently happening. So I'm trying to figure out how the worm gods fit into all this. So that's a nice little tidbit that I love about when I do Fireside lore, because sometimes I'll pick up on stuff in the lore that I might have missed when I skimmed it or looked at it. And I'm like, oh, so we're doing that, are we? So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there. So let's take a look at part 8, which is called Gilded Knives. They say the promenade of the core district never sleeps. In times of celebration, it was a parade ground meant to extol the virtues of the Guardians and show the people of the city the faces of their often distant defenders. To see it empty was almost unheard of since the Red War. Executor Hido of New Monarchy walked out alongside Lakshmi II of Future War Cult, observing vendor stalls decorated in neon lights that flickered intermittently as they passed. But there were no vendors, no proprietors. Hideo glanced over his shoulder at the 4 Future War Cult security officers that followed behind them at a respectful distance. "Do you remember the last time the street was empty?" he asked. "Yes," Lakshmi said with a heavy heart. "They called me a fool then as well." She did nothing to hide the contempt in her voice. "We make mistakes in circles, Hideo, walking in a loop of our own self-made despair." Before he could formulate a response, Hideo spotted the reason for their walk through the endless night. A towering behemoth of chrome and lavender cloth hunched over in an abandoned plaza. St. 14 focused on the birds underfoot, scattering a handmade mix of seed on the ground, while he cooed contentedly at the pigeons. "You have chosen poor night for walk," he observed as Hideo and Lakshmi approached. "Do you need escort back to tower?" Hideo shook his head. "No, Saint. I want to find you in the hangar, and Miss Holliday informed us that you had come here," he eyed the birds, "to contemplate." "Birds are uncomplicated, good conversationalists. They give me room to think," Saint said with a smile in his voice. "How can I help?" "The consensus has struggled as of late with some of the Vanguard's decisions regarding the city's security. We want to expand that conversation to include you," Lakshmi said. "But not Arakshal?" Saint asked, a more pointed and cunning response than either Hido or Lakshmi anticipated. "No," Hideo quickly confirmed. Lakshmi verbally maneuvered around Hideo's answer like water around a stone. "This is about ensuring that the best interests of the city are at the forefront of the Vanguard's mind." Saint fixed his helmed visage on Lakshmi. "The Elixni." A statement, not a question. "The Vanguard are a military force, and the consensus does not doubt their commitment to defending the city beyond its borders." Lakshmi carefully worded her approach. "But we have come to doubt that a military force is the best governance for the city inside the walls." Saint squared his shoulders as if presented a challenge and looked between Hideo and Lakshmi. His stoicism twisted Hideo's stomach into knots. "We would like to propose a restructuring of the city's leadership, placing the Vanguard as the authority for what goes on outside the walls," Hideo gestured towards the mountains, "and respective leadership here, inside the city." He motioned to Saint. "This is bad plan," Saint said without any attempt at Saint said without any attempt at hiding his feelings. Surely you understand that tactical options in the field do not always apply unilaterally in a civilian quarter, Hideo pleaded. On top of that, the vanguard is a stretch too thin. They cannot be the leadership they need to be. Saint balked. Then welcome to me. I am no politician. But you are a leader, Lakshmi countered as she placed a hand over her chest. A hero, a symbol to the people. Saint drew in a steady breath and grew silent. It may not feel like the right choice because of your personal feelings towards Commander Zavala and Ikora. Change can sometimes feel distasteful, but I know you aren't one to ignore your sense of duty. Saint looked down at his feet, at the birds, at the seed. I must speak with Osiris, he asserted. Lakshmi briefly regarded Hideo and nodded. Give your partner our regards. I will, Saint said stiffly, scattering the last of the seed in his hand to the birds before departing the plaza. Hideo and Lakshmi waited under the watchful eye of the traveler until Saint was gone. If he tells Zavala or Ikora, Hideo said through clenched teeth, Osiris will stop him from doing anything so stupid, Lakshmi said, the softness in her voice gone. And if he is so short-sighted as to refuse us as Saladin did. Hideo's stomach twitched again. That is not looking good for, I'm seeing why people are not digging Lakshmi this season. It's interesting. They do some really good lore in Destiny. I mean, and Paul, to respond to you, yeah, I know that the Hive have got a worm inside of them, but the Hive gods and the worm gods really haven't they haven't been brought up a lot. It's been really focused on the Elixni, and I'm just trying to figure out where the Hive, because this has been kind of more of a Fallen Vex sort of thing, and I'm just curious as to where the Hive worm gods suddenly fit into all this. So yeah, it's an interesting one. But Lakshmi really does not care for the way things are being run. That's interesting. I like it. Well, conflict is good for the soul, right? All right. Let's see. Whew. There's some heat coming off of there. Ah, there we go. Slapped another nice piece of... there we go. That's it. That should do it. That should last me two more. Missed the first part of Pip's last reading. Yeah. You'll have to catch it in the... you'll have to definitely catch it in the replay, because it was an unexpected chapter in this book. An unexpected chapter. I thought it was very cool. All right, so just so you all know, it sounded like a hive worm got into a human. That's what it sounded like to me. But was it inside a human? Was it inside of a guardian? How did it happen? Or is this something? Are they pulling an Alien 3 on us, and they're not really saying how the alien magically got itself into a human? It was a little uncertain there, Anyway, all right. So for anybody who's curious, anyone that's joining us late on the stream, anyone who is new to the stream, this is Fireside Lore, and this is where normally it's my wife and me, but by the way, I'm T. You can call me T Monster, or Twitch Dad, and usually I'm joined by Twitch Mom or my wife Pip. Pip wasn't feeling too hot after the last reading she did, so she's checked in, gone to bed, and I'm gonna stick it out for two more pieces of lore. I was I have on my stream, as part of my channel points, you can redeem channel points to redeem them for pieces of lore. And what I do is I come out here, I build a fire in the fire pit, and then by the fire, by the light of the fire, I tell, or usually my wife and I, read parts of lore from Destiny 2. And we did on request pathfinding, and now we're doing the book Beneath the Endless Light. Both of these books of lore are from the current season, the season of the Splicer, and it's been really it's a perfect night for this. It's a perfect night for this. Got a wall of honeysuckle here that's just scenting the air. It's just a little bit of a chill, and it's a really beautiful clear night. We haven't had the cicadas yet, knock wood. We haven't had the cicadas yet, but we do have the frogs in the distance. It's really nice. It's a perfect night for some fireside lore. So we're at part 9 of Beneath the Endless Night, and this is called Prediction. It's called Prediction. Oh, look at this! Getting a raid from Electric. Ah, thank you, Electric, for that raid. I appreciate that. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. Thanks for coming in. Do appreciate that. Okay. Part 9, Prediction. In the days that followed the Quiria's defeat, the sky lightened, and so did the city's mood, as the endless night began to slowly lift. Lakshmi, too, stood on the high city walls, watching adventurous citizens mingle with the Elixni. She focused her attention on an Elixni peddler who had fashioned several small robots from discarded scrap. A small gaggle of children stood across the way, clearly interested in the robots as they moved aimlessly, but too frightened to approach. Lakshmi knew that the peddler would sell one of the robots, but none of the scrap, and end the day discouraged. It is a bright new day, she thought. It's a bright new day, a deep voice called. Oh, it's a bright new day, a deep voice called out. Lakshmi turned to see the former warlock Osiris striding along the wall toward her. Oh, it's a strange choice of words, Lakshmi answered. The darkness is closer than ever. And in the darkness, it's sometimes difficult to tell friend from foe. She remembered this conversation from her time in the device. Many of the potential futures it showed her led to this moment. Osiris was growing predictable. It is, Osiris said. And in the darkness, it's hard to tell friend from foe. Lakshmi smiled inwardly. They were still well within the standard deviation. I'm surprised to hear you say that, Osiris. You are normally blessed with such uncommon clarity. My perspective has changed since I lost the light, Osiris began slowly. Time is suddenly finite, makes everything seem more changeable. And if my perception can change, perhaps my enemies can as well. The folly of mortality. Lakshmi gestured to the scene below. Those people could never understand time as we do, Osiris. You've peered behind the veil. You've seen the Vex simulation stretching endlessly. You understand that history is changeable, but also inevitable. I used to be certain of that, he agreed. But now I have to wonder if history is inevitable. Why am I constantly surprised? Lakshmi chuckled. She had heard his comment before, of course, but her premonition had not adequately conveyed his fatuousness. And what do you think, Osiris? Will this bright new day last? She nodded towards the Elixni settlement. Are we meant to shed light with the fallen? As if you would know, she thought. You no longer deal in predictions. I've given up on prediction, Lakshmi. I put my fate in the hands of the traveler now more than ever before. He gave her a sidelong glance. And what do you say? Is this a new dawn? Lakshmi recalled the vision she had so fervently sought within the device, the realization of her righteous victory over the Elixni, historical and preordained all at once, her life's work, crawling minute by minute from the future into the present. No, she replied. This is just a flash of lightning before the coming storm. Feels like it's all coming. It's all coming. You know, it's all coming and coming really fast. It's still that, you know, and I won't lie, chat. It is still that dream of mine that if I could write a tie-in novel for Destiny, I would. I mean, regardless, I'd still play the game. But ow, jeez. That one log is being a little stubborn here, chat. Hold on. Ooh, actually. That bark you hear? That's our neighbor's Great Dane. I'd take you over there, but unfortunately, I don't think the cable would reach. But I hear him. He says, "Whoa, oh, oh. Hey T, I'm over here. Come on over here, T. Come on over here. I need to lick your face." But I've got off on my face. I'm pretty sure writing something for any major franchise would be pretty cool. Hey, good night, Paul. It does sound like she's up to no good, though. But yeah, good night, man. Tried really hard to stick it up, but the pain is getting the best of me. I'm tapping out. Hey, good night. Good night, Kat. I appreciate you hanging out just as long as you did. That's all that matters. You hung out as long as you did. I appreciate that. But we got one more story for tonight, and then that will wrap up this book, Beneath the Endless Night. And this is featuring, just so you know, this is featuring Elixni, the Lords of Iron, Mithrax, Osiris, Ikora Rey, Saint 14, Lord Saladin, and Zavala. They're all referenced in this one story. So this is gonna be a big one. It's gonna be a big one. And this is chapter 10 or part 10, however you want to phrase it. But this is chapter 10 or part 10. This is the memorial. We're just memorial. And oh, he's saying goodnight to Canterbury. Gotcha, Paul. Sorry. All right, here we go. Wait, is that? Oh, I don't think it's oh no, I don't think it's the Great Dane. I think that's Carmine. That's Carmine. That's so across from us, chat. We got two big dogs in the works. We've got on one side of us, we've got, or to our right, we have a Great Dane, like a Great Dane puppy. And then over to the left of the Great Dane, we got Carmine, who is a Saint Bernard puppy. So yeah, we got big dogs happening in this neighborhood. Okay, so here we go. Final part 10, memorial. The air upon the wall was thin. Lakshmi was right about that. Mithrax stood in silent observation of the memorial above the main concourse. He leaned against an iron railing, watching guardians and citizens alike moving below, Elixni with them. A dreg approached the memorial and led his child to stand among the mourners. Urged forward by a gentle nudge, the child gingerly placed a gilded eggshell at the memorial's base. Gold soldering sealed a myriad of fractures, making a once broken egg whole again. Mithrax's throat tightened at the sight. It was a memorial for a child, lost. The walkway behind Mithrax groaned as Saint 14 cut a large silhouette against the clear sky. Shoulder to shoulder they stood. Neither spoke. They watched as Ikora and Zavala conversed with departing mourners. The dreg and his son approached, and with a bittersweet smile, Ikora made certain to introduce them to Zavala. Big, stern, stoic Zavala took to one knee and spoke to the child eye to eye. "I never thought I'd see the day," Saint finally said, unable to look away. Mithrax responded, not with words, but with a fluttering purr-like rumble and mirrored Saint's posture. "Do you think this will hold?" An alliance fragile like glass, held in a feast? Saint asked. Only the great machine knows what will come from over the horizon. We must be content with our own limited perspectives, Mithrax said with conviction. Saint nodded. Down below, Amanda Holliday drew their attention as she knelt before the memorial to light a candle. She stood and stepped back, lingering. Mithrax and Saint watched in silence as she rose up on her toes and began scanning through the crowd, as if she were looking for someone. She gently pushed through the throng of people and reached out to another mourner in a white cloak. Both recoiled in surprise, Amanda seemingly apologizing to the cloaked woman at some misunderstanding. They exchanged brief words, awkward laughs, sympathies. When Amanda caught sight of Lord Saladin, however, she took her leave and disappeared into the crowd. Mourners parted around the Iron Lord, respectful of his space and reputation, as he laid a handful of spent shell casings at the memorial with reverence. The offering's meaning was lost on Mithrax. As Saladin rose to the memorial, he turned and looked at the pair on the overwatch. His face cast in shadows of doubt. His face cast in shades of doubt, remorse, and uncertainty, as he quietly departed. I do not know that one, Mithrax said with a look of Saint. I do not know that one, Mithrax said with a look to Saint. He seems unhappy. Saint slowly shook his head. Lord Saladin, he clarified. He has lost many, lost his heart, his hope, lost so many he believes he stands alone, even when surrounded by others. I understand his pain, I see. Saint thinks on how Osiris would describe it. I see his cautionary tale. Mithrax heard the ache in Saint's voice. And how are you? Saint tensed at the question. Railing in his hand creaked as his grip tightened and bent the metal. I am fine. He lied. Indeed, Mithrax said with his best affection of sarcasm. Oh, indeed, Mithrax said with his best affliction of sarcasm, then placed a hand on Saint's shoulder. It is not above a warrior station to feel pain, not above a warrior station to express spirit wounds. Mithrax's grip firmed on Saint's shoulder, reassuring, stabilizing. Not above a warrior station to break. Saint nodded in half-hearted agreement. I should go, he said in a tone Mithrax didn't quite understand. Thank you, Kell of Kells. You are true friend. Go well, Saint, Mithrax said with concern. Find your lost phoenix. Somewhat somber way to end it, huh? And it seems very appropriate considering that the fire is dying out a bit. It does seem that the fire is starting to... It's on its last legs. But man, tonight was a good night for this. Tonight was definitely a good night for this. So I know you can barely see me, chat. That's okay. I think this is appropriate. We got the fire slowly going out, and I think now would be a good time. It's still kicking. It's still trying. The fire is still trying. But I tell you what, let's go and let's find some people to raid. Give them an intimate raid for the night. Thank you everybody for being here. This has been so much fun. And for those of you who haven't been here for this before, I hope you enjoyed it. This is what I call Fireside Lore, where I go in and I say, okay, you know what? I wanna read from some of the lore of Destiny, and I hope you're all just hanging out and having a good time with us. So that's the plan. That's what I want to accomplish here. So let's see who's on. and who we're going to send the love to right now. Let's just take a look. I'm going to hop over to the channel. Give me a second, everybody. Give me a second. Do. All right. Let's see who's on right now. Oh, we got some good people. Oh, we got some really good people on tonight. And I think, oh, you know what? If they're still chatting, let's see if they're still chatting here. It's always good to double check. It's always good to double check. So, little bit of streamer etiquette here. Or not streamer etiquette, more like streamer advice. Always double check and see if the person that you want to raid is officially on, because sometimes the list on the left hand side doesn't always mesh up. And right now I'm sitting through an ad. As soon as the ad wraps up, we'll find out if they are still chatting. Well, it looks like they are, because I see the. Yep. Oh, it looks like she's chatting. I can't tell if she's chatting with chat or if she's chatting. She's doing an open chat with people. Oh. She's. Oh, okay. That's cool. All right. Nope. She is chatting away. Oh, nope. She's waving. She's waving goodbye. I think she's waving goodbye. Yep. That's why you check, chat. That is why you check. But you know who I do see on? Let's see if they are hanging in there. Yeah. You want some high energy for tonight? Let's go and say hey to the Raven Armed. He is really good people. And he has worked really hard to get where he is. So, we're doing the night raid, and we are raiding the Raven Armed. And he is really good people. Everybody, thank you all so much for being a part of tonight's stream. Thank you all for hanging out with me tonight. I really do appreciate it. You all have a fantastic night. And for those of you curious, I will see you not bright and early, but I'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. for the first day attempt with VOG. We'll see how it goes, okay? All right, everybody. You have a great night. Take care. Thanks for watching.
Ocean is still there. We thunder from the greedy.
So much for the gifted subs, my friend. You're an amazing person. I appreciate you so very much. Why am I in jail? I'm in prison. I'm in prison. Somebody put me in prison. Firebug, thank you so much. Yeah, Army ladies. And Team Monster, thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream? My dude, I appreciate you so very much. You are absolutely legendary, my friend. Thank you so much for being here and being absolutely amazing. Firebug, thank you so much for the bits, my friend. Guys, you're absolutely amazing. thank you so much for all the love. You guys are absolutely wonderful. And I do have a sad cat diary story. I have not forgotten. When you give away another Jolly Roger? 20 subs now. 20 subs. Someone finally called checks me. I'm paying them. They can try to. Thank you for the follow, praise Russian, my friend. Welcome aboard. And Scoob! My dude, thank you so much. Ooh, some Destiny Lord in chat. That sounds amazing, T. And Legend, thank you, T. And Legend for being here and for all the things. And yes, I've got a Jordan. And guess what's inside it? Thank you so much, T. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Scoob, for making it a level 5. You guys did not have to do anything, and I'm so very blessed. I have things to do, and I've not forgotten them. I appreciate it. Raiders, welcome in if it's your first time here. I'm Raven, also known as the Captain, and stream every Monday, Thursday,